3. We did not get to cast games 1 or 2. We just did this because it's a lot more fun than sitting around doing nothing. Welcome back, though. It's the losers bracket, and one of these two will eliminate the other. The winner will move on to fight against Bunny. And this is for the IEM Shenzhen European qualifiers. Spawning here towards the bottom left corner of the map, though, it's going to be the red Protoss Showtime.
In the top right as the blue Zerg, it's TLO.
Pardon me. So TLO, I like watching. He's really been a fluctuating force of Zerg, I guess. Sometimes he's really good and that creative play is coming into effect, and sometimes he just plays standard and gets whooped.
Yeah, that's that's true. So I was going to say when it was 1-0 in Showtime's favor that, you know, the way that TLO comes back in the next game, I think heavily depends on, like, does Showtime mix it up? Do you do an all-in and then macroed, or vice versa? Or do the same all-in twice, which I think Showtime's... Well, I guess there's, like, some mental things to that, but I would say a better player than relying on one single build to win him an entire series. But, yeah, I was looking at a tweet you just retweeted.
Yeah, the dinosaur game. Ark Survival or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I was so confused, his first tweet. I was like, why am I a Velociraptor?
Well, no, he had tweeted us a week or so ago, and he had, I guess his girlfriend had named their dinosaurs after us, but then they died. And I was like, dude, what? Yeah, so
no!
that's why I said these ones are healthy and alive.
Oh, good. Oh.
You're becoming way too emotionally attached to this way too quickly.
Sorry. Well, whatever, man. Whatever.
So fast third hatchery. Man, we haven't seen this in a long time. But 3 hatch pool for TLO.
Yeah.
Doesn't go for the gas. We're not playing super greedy, thank God. But still interesting to see this happen because, of course, you're doing this on a map like Iron Fortress. There's a decent chance that Showtime would actually spawn top left, and that this third base ends up being the worst base you could have taken.
Yeah, very risky. There's also a chance it was a Forge Fast expand, but obviously that's gone for being the only thing you could ever do. Forge Fast expand or die to being the less common of the two options. I think Gateways definitely come over as the more popular choice. I don't know why. I guess it's just, for me, I think it's easier to remember the build order for all 3 races, but that's because, you know, I'm not a Protoss pro gamer. I don't think that's the reason they're doing it.
Well, actually,
I guess.
For Showtime here, this is a fun little note. It's just playstyle. I remember Morrow, he was slated to fight against me in WCS, and he was studying the hell out of Showtime. But Showtime doesn't really have one style he falls into. Like, there's some Zerg players we know will do 7, or sorry, not Zerg players, pardon me, some Protoss players we know will do 7 gates, like, no matter what. There's some Protoss players who go for Blink Stalkers and not even bother with any other composition. Showtime's kind of not only good enough to pull off any style he wants, he does regularly shake it up. So it's pretty hard to play against him. And I've been told by other players too, that's one of the things that makes him such a difficult player to play against.
The 6-minute gas deal.
Well, I think it's more the 6-minute keep my drone alive deal, but if it is going to be a steal, I mean, it does limit the gas.
Limits the follow-up. Showtime, with the pylon down as close as it is, he's going to use the 3 gateways aggressively, which is an option that you can do in front of the warp gate and whatnot. It cannot work, basically, right? And it's kind of it's like a mediocre attack that if you lose everything for it, then it just looks really weak. But if they're not expecting it, because they scout only 3 gateways, then it can be really good. Now speed, yeah, and the drone. Speed isn't done, so warp against Stalkers, while usually risky versus someone, you know, that only has Lings, is actually good. They can kite the Lings now.
Focus fire is on the mothership core, because of course if you can't kill that, then nothing else really matters. But the drone ended up letting complete into extraction. I think what he was planning to do was cancel it again so he could go back to the main and scout with it. But look at that surround. Despite the recall, oh, he actually gets him out alive. I was going to say 2 of the Stalkers looked like they were going to die. But gets everything on the line.
That forced a lot of Lings from TLO.
It did.
I would love to have all of those being drones, and you know they both just expand because for TLO, you know, he probably wanted to get a certain amount of lings just to attempt to cancel the third base as it is Iron Fortress, but that was supposed to be after this round of drones. So it's just, you know, a little bit of a hiccup in his economy, and hopefully Showtime now might be able to still hold on. He's in position. He realized that those lings are going to have some job. They can't just run around, you know, doing nothing and get paid. I think they are.
I like the inference that Zerg units get paid. Like, what's the currency there? Food? Survival?
Yes, actually. So, let's see here. Like, you know, sympathetic. Anyways, he defends his third base, and that's really nice. This is the most common point where they lose Spross on Iron Fortress. And,
yeah.
Of course, TLO still getting a couple more drones here and there. He's getting a second Roach Warren, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah. But you know, we saw Snoot do 2 Bailey Nests and win his series today, so might just be a Team Liquid thing.
Now, TLO is dedicating to burrow fairly quickly, as well as a lot of...
this is actually on purpose.
He really is doing it on purpose? Oh,
yeah.
We always bring this up and they never do it.
I know, that's why I didn't want to bother bringing it up, because like, I swear the last 19 times we talk about this, never happens. But TLO is very intentionally going for very fast tunneling claws, very fast roach speed, and of course that burrow to match up with it. Now this... honestly, at a glance, this looks a bit awkward. I don't know if Showtime's going to read this because it's done so rarely. Again, I want to emphasize, we talk about this all the time, but it never happens because it's performed so rarely. But the big thing about this is it makes the sentries immediately useless. Their Guardian Shields help a little bit, but the Force Fields are no longer an issue, so you can move underneath and through them. Same kind of goes off for this little choke on the wall. Who really cares if the roaches can just run right through it? So I'm not sure which base he's going to focus on, but TLO is actually going to have burrow and tunneling claws available here in just a second's time. And this is a really fast timing for it too, because normally you have to wait for speed to finish first, and then you start it. And Showtime isn't used to dealing with this at 11 minutes. No way, no how.
Well, the Immortals have to pop out. Still a long ways to go for that +2, but luckily the Forge isn't a natural wall. I think it's a really good maneuver.
This is such a big all-in out of TLO. There's no upgrades hidden behind this. There's no further tech. It's dedication to Roach just trying to win the game. And I really think there's the potential for this to work.
Yeah, I definitely. Even with the Immortals out.
Those 3 cannons, though, might make this a little bit difficult. But if he just walks through and walks past and gets on top of that Immortal, maybe not an issue. Actually, if he kills the cannons, there's no detection. The Roaches just get free reign to do whatever they like.
Well, the last cannon survives. He gets the Immortal, but he's losing out on so many of those Roaches. Now, Roaches are pretty easily replaceable, but it's, you know, obviously, like,
he slept the supply. He slept on the Roach supply. I mean, it's roaches. I know, asterisk, but still. I don't know. If he consolidates and comes with another big force, maybe this looks a little bit different. Instead of fighting 6, 7 at a time.
Blink's done, and Immortal's like, oh god. That really need to start the ball rolling like a huge way. Like, dedication to the natural that had 4 cannons. Just obviously wasn't worth it. That would cost him the game, but even like looking at it was like,